Hello and welcome to Come to Know Mary. This is a place where we grow in faith, draw inspiration from Mary's life, and discover how to trust God in every season. Today, we are diving into a message that will challenge us, inspire us, and draw us closer to Christ. Fasting, it's a word that makes many of us uncomfortable. The thought of giving up food, habits, or comforts feels like a struggle. Why should we deny ourselves when life is already full of challenges? But what if fasting wasn't just about deprivation? What if it was about transformation, about becoming more like Christ? Mary, our blessed mother, teaches us that self-denial is not about punishment, it's about love. She lived a life of quiet sacrifice, constantly saying yes to God, even when it hurt. Today, let's walk with Mary and learn 7 powerful ways fasting can shape our hearts, draw us closer to God, and open us to true joy. 1. Fasting is saying yes to God. Think back to the Annunciation. Mary was a young girl, with dreams of her own. Then the angel Gabriel appeared, telling her she would bear the Son of God. She didn't hesitate, she simply said, "Let it be done to me according to your word." Fasting is our way of saying the same thing to God. It's a way of telling Him, "Lord, I trust you more than my own desires." When we fast, we practice surrender. We give up food, distractions, or comforts, not to suffer, but to make space for God's will in our lives. What is God asking you to say yes to today? And what is standing in the way of that yes? 2. Fasting strengthens us in suffering. Mary's life was full of silent suffering. From the moment she said yes to God, she knew sorrow would come. Imagine Mary watching Jesus carry his cross, feeling every wound as if it were her own. She didn't run away. She stayed. Fasting teaches us to stay when things get hard. It strengthens our spiritual endurance. When we feel hunger or discomfort, we unite it with Christ's suffering and with Mary's silent pain. Think about your own struggles. Maybe you're carrying the cross of financial hardship, illness, loneliness, or disappointment. Fasting reminds us, we are not alone. 3. Fasting frees us from attachments. Our world is full of noise. We are attached to food, social media, constant entertainment. We seek comfort in things that leave us empty. But Mary lived simply. She wasn't attached to status or possessions, her heart was only for God. Fading breaks our attachments. When we step away from unnecessary comforts, we realize how much we rely on things instead of God. What is controlling your heart today? Is it food? Is it social media? Is it the need for approval? Fasting clears the clutter so we can hear God's voice again. 4. Fasting makes our prayers more powerful. At the wedding at Cana, Mary noticed the need before anyone else. She told Jesus, "They have no wine." And with just one request, she changed everything. Fasting makes our prayers powerful because it aligns us with God's will. When we deny ourselves, our prayers become less about us and more about what God desires. If you're praying for a breakthrough, fast with faith. Offer your hunger for a deeper purpose. Just like Mary's intercession moved Jesus' heart, our fasting and prayer can move mountains. 5. Fasting helps us love others better. Fasting isn't just about our relationship with God, it also changes how we treat others. Mary rushed to help Elizabeth after learning of her pregnancy, despite being pregnant herself. She put aside her own needs to serve. Fasting teaches us to think less about ourselves and more about others. When we deny ourselves, we become more compassionate. Have you ever noticed how fasting makes you more aware of the struggles of others? Hunger reminds us of those who go without food daily. Giving up comforts reminds us of the suffering in the world. Fasting isn't just a personal act, it's an invitation to love deeper and give more generously. 6. Fasting teaches humility. Pride tells us we deserve comfort. But fasting reminds us that everything we have is a gift. Mary embraced humility. She gave birth in a stable, fled to Egypt as a refugee, and lived a quiet, hidden life in Nazareth. She didn't seek recognition, she simply followed God. Fasting humbles us because it strips away distractions and reminds us how much we rely on God. When you fast, you realize, I am small, but God is great. I am weak, but He is strong. And that humility opens the door for God to work in our lives. 7. Fasting prepares us for Easter's joy. Lent isn't just about suffering, it's about preparing for joy. Mary's sorrow at the cross was transformed into the greatest joy at the resurrection. But she didn't skip the suffering, she walked through it. Fasting prepares us for Easter by training our hearts to long for Christ. When we deny ourselves, we awaken a deeper hunger, not for food, but for God. So as we fast with Mary, let's remember, every sacrifice leads to a greater joy. Every no to ourselves is a yes to God. And every act of self-denial prepares us for the glory of Easter morning. Mary teaches us that fasting is not about loss, it's about gain. We gain self-discipline, deeper prayer, and a heart that beats with Christ's love. So as you fast this Lent, don't just think of what you're giving up, think of what you're gaining, a heart more open to God's grace. Let's walk this journey with Mary, trusting that every sacrifice, no matter how small, brings us closer to Jesus. Are you ready to say yes? Please write your answer in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Come to Know Mary for more inspiration. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep trusting, keep believing, and come to know Mary.